go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Ask You Anything presented by Mosher Consulting. I'm your host, Angel Leon, Mosher's Director of Personnel. In today's episode, we're going to continue to talk about data management, but this time with a twist. With me today is Topi Akinmoladen, one of Mosher Consulting's senior consultants, and he's going to talk to us about a day in the life of a data manager as a service consultant. Topi is a SQL Server administrator for Mosher Consulting, and he has worked in different industries like telecommunications, utilities, and gaming. He joined Mosher as a database administrator in 2022. His expertise is in SQL Server administration, ranging from monitoring user access and security, upgrades and migration, and performance tuning. Outside of work, Topi enjoys spending time with family and friends, playing soccer, playing video games, and listening to Afrobeats music. I gotta say, I love playing video games too. So we're on the same path there, Topi.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you, Angel.
Well, it's great to have you with us at Ask You Anything. How are you, Topi?
I'm doing all right, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Well, this is a very interesting topic as I was researching for this. So I want to start off by asking exactly, what does a SQL Server administrator do?
That's a great question, right? When you talk about the SQL Server administrator, we are responsible for the implementation, maintenance, and optimization of Microsoft SQL systems. As a SQL Server administrator, we administer the techniques, the procedure to maintain support, the databases system. In addition, we recommend, we create, we implement, enhance the improvement performance of the SQL Server. We try to provide a secure system for SQL Server. So database administration encompasses different scheme and skills. So basically, we are out there to ensure our clients are safe. We support them in time when the application is slow, and we help them provide solution to their database management system.
So a lot to unpack there, but basically, you're not just an administrator, as the name entails. You're actually sort of like a quasi-security force behind that administration of the server.
Thank you. You're right. Yeah. And while we do that as well, we try to create, documentation for detailing technical design in the database system. So our jobs ranges from security, access management, performance tuning, migration, and all that.
That's a lot. I'm gonna say that's a lot. So
thank you.
So tell me, what could a day in the life of a role like a SQL Server administrator look like?
Yeah, on a day-to-day, depending on the project that we have going on. The first thing, you have to check the databases to ensure they are up and running. You want to check some critical jobs. You have a backup jobs. You want to ensure you have your backup. You want to check. We have what we call the DBCC check. That's for the consistency check. You want to ensure that the database has no corruption. When your database is corrupt, you are as valid as nothing. You can't you can't have your system is down. Your application is basically down.
Right.
So you ensure those jobs are running correctly. And if you are working on a project, you want to ensure, sometimes we get involved in migration. That's when you're trying to move your database from a lower version to, higher version. Or sometimes we try to move from one particular relational database to another, So that's what we do on a day-to-day. And sometimes we involve in meetings. Sometimes we get pulled up in different Slack channels or teams when an application is running slow. And sometimes we work on tickets, sometimes we try to grant user access, and sometimes we revoke access from a particular user. That's how my day-to-day looks like. It's an interesting life.
So yeah, I was going to say, that sounds like a lot of different moving parts, and
yeah.
that on any given moment during the day, your work can shift from one thing to another. That sounds very interesting.
Right. Yes, it's an interesting career, which I really love so well.
So what qualifications would you need for this role?
To be a SQL Server administrator, you want to have at least a bachelor's degree in information system, computer science, for entry-level position. Those are the bases that you need. Those are the qualifications, Yeah. And when you rack up a lot of experiences too, and that qualifies you to have a like bachelor's degree as well. For the most part, you need a degree in a related field like information system, computer science, or computer engineering, or anything science related courses.
Any particular certification that normally SQL Server administrators go after?
Yes. Yeah, we have some fundamentals. We can do Azure fundamentals, can do Microsoft Associate. Those are the certifications that we have out there. In the past, we have a lot, but some of them has been deprecated, but we have the Azure fundamentals, we have the Microsoft Data Administration Associate. You can get that as well. Those are the qualification certifications out there that qualifies you to be a data-based administrator.
You've mentioned a lot of very interesting things that a position like this does. So for those people that are out there, why would you choose a career in this field?
That's a very good question. Like one thing about this, like you said, like I mentioned earlier, our jobs encompass a lot of different moving parts. Like you trying to grant people access, you're trying to help people resolve issues when an application is running slow, you try to help migrate from a particular system to another. It gives me joy when I do this for clients and their backup has improved. I mean, their database has improved in terms of performance. They are appreciative of the job we do. They just ordinary thank you. Our server is running 10 times faster than it used to be. That gives me a lot of joy, and this I love challenges, and when I take up tasks and I resolve the issue, it makes me feel accomplished, so those are the one thing I really love and about this career.
Well, you mentioned something that we've mentioned in this podcast before about how IT people like challenges, and
Right.
it definitely sounds like you get a lot of challenges in a position like this.
Yes, a lot. Every day is different. You just don't know what you're gonna run into. And when you solve the problem, you look at yourself as a Superman. Like, yeah, I did that.
I'm more of a Batman guy, but okay, we'll take Superman.
Okay.
He's a good guy. We'll take him. So really quickly before we end, any advice for anybody out there who's looking to jump into this field?
I would say it's a very interesting field. Like I said, it's challenging, but you're gonna get fulfilled at the end of the day. I'll just say get a degree, if you're in this school, take your classes seriously, and again, try to network with the professionals in the industry. Like again, network.
Yes,
That's my
networking
advice
is
out
very
there.
important.
Yes.
It's very important in any field. That's great advice because it is important in any field, from SQL Server administrators to HR to podcast producing like Brian does. So it's very important. That's great advice. Well, Topi, it's great to have you with us today on Ask Anything. We really appreciate your time. We know you got to get back to be the SQL Server administrator. You got a lot of hats, sounds to me like.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me, Angel.
Thank you. Thank you for listening in to this week's edition of Ask Anything presented by Mosher Consulting. We hope you enjoyed listening to Topi Akinmuladen, who was talking to us about what a day in the life of a data manager as a service consultant looks like. Join us next time when we continue to dive deeper with our resident experts on what they're currently working on. Remember to send us your ideas or topics via our social media feeds. In the meantime, please remember to give us a rating and subscribe to our feed wherever you get your podcasts. Until then, so long, everybody.